I am too good to be a Yido. I don't like touching on. They do alright to start the season, but never finish strong. I am in love with Arsene Wenger, cause gooners we are dread. There's a manly lump in me underpants
and a lady boy in your bed.
What?
Have it.
Arsene Wenger's a legend. Arsene Wenger's a legend.
Arsenal!
Def Jeff Splatter is a crook, so boycott the World Cup and the European finals because corruption is rife at FIFA and someone needs to take a stand. So, as the inventors of this beautiful game, it should be us. On a personal note, I think we should have been ordered off the pitch the instant Maradona's hand of God was allowed to stand, as there's no way that a 2'6" South American pygmy could possibly beat a 6'2" ripped to shit keeper like Shilton. Moving on, good evening and welcome to the start of the 2014 to 2015 English Premier League season with me, your host, Gary Linekeers. This programme is only available on the internet, as no television broadcasters will touch us with a barge pole, and we have no competition for you to join in with, so piss off and watch Anton Deck if that's your bag. Joining me in the studio as always are our resident pundits, former Liverpool top boy, Rab C. Hansen.
7th to 2nd in one season, man. Hey, the mighty Liverpool are back.
Indeed. And joining him is Newcastle Uniturd's top talisman, Elaine Shearer.
Harken back to the glory days of the Toonami. Loads of girls, man.
I'm sorry, was that goals or girls?
I'm talking girls, man.
Right. And joining them on the sofa is our guest pundit, former Tottenham heartthrob, Mr. David Ginola.
Good evening, Gary. A moment, if you please. I used to play for Newcastle, so maybe I can help you. We are there, man. Mr. Juggears over here wants to know if yours was talking about girls or girls. When you said girls, didn't you know, like, it's footy, man, not totty, man. Them's were talking girls, man. Apparently he was talking about scoring goals, Gary.
Well, thank you for what can only be described as the weirdest and most random translation of all time, David. Kicking off tonight's show, we begin with a visit to what started out as Upton Park before their move to the Bowling Stadium, which will soon be replaced by the Poundland Arena once the naming rights have been finalised on the Olympic Stadium, which out of interest is a barn they'll never fill. As the greatest team in North London, the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, travelled to play one of their arch rivals, Stratford Wanderers. Following 3 dismal turnouts against them last season under both Odrash Villas-Boas and Tim Nice but Dim Sherwood, would it be possible for the mighty Spurs to fare any better under new manager Maurice Pinochet? Pinashes? What the heck? Pinocchio. Or would their winning form continue to avoid them in East London? Of course, in my day, all we had to do to beat Wet Spam Uniturd was turn up. As per usual, we can't show you any of the footage from the game, as some soap-dodging chavs have failed to pay their TV licence fees, which means we can't afford to pay the extortionate amount of money that B-Sky be charged for screening highlights. So we'll go straight over for the post-match interviews with our matchday commentator, Guy Melton Mowbray Pork Pie. We beat them 1-0, by the way. Come on, you Spurs! So, Pinocchio, a fantastic start to the season with a 1-0 win over West Ham. Not a bad result for you as the new Spurs manager. Lovely goal. Every bee shall would poopo. Tottenham, Daniel Levy, no. Yeah, mate, it was a fantastic start of the season, coming over here, beating West Ham after last season's losses, and with my 100% win rate at Tottenham, I don't reckon Daniel Levy's going to give me the Spanish Archer this week. Know what I mean? A couple of sending-offs during that game, specifically Carl Naughty for handball. What are your views on that? Well, no. Red card, no. Penalty,
Ha ha ha! F. How do you like them apples? Stands to reason that we're going to appeal the sending off, because old Naughty wouldn't hurt a fly, and that shout was harsh, mate. But on the flip side, you know Knobhead won't ever live down missing that penalty. But moving on, job done, sweet as. Spurs a joint first, while Wet Spam a joint last. Pick the bones out of that. Moving on, Mr. Allardyce. Spurs went down to 10 men, you had a penalty, your boy failed to convert, and when they scored, you lost. What's on your mind, fat boy?
Well, I don't know what to say. We were a man up, we controlled most of the game, but Knobhead sent Lawless to his left and then sent the ball to bloody Zescores. I need to have a word with Teddy Sheringham about it. Although, in our defence, what I'd like to say is, are you going to eat that pie? Sorry, where was I? Oh yes, totally justified sending off of Carl Naughty for this handball, but very severe double red card and sending off for my boy James Collins. Are you going to finish those chips?
Okay, your thoughts on the game? Was it a harsh decision to send Norton off?
Well, you had to give the penalty because the ball hit his arm, so the red card was the right call to make all day long.
You're shitting me, right? Are you blind? Are you stoned? The ball was kicked straight at him from less than a foot away, so it was going to hit him no matter what he did, which makes it ball to hand and not hand to ball. How dare you speak ill of the mighty Spurs?
Elaine? Fantastic, good man. How are the Spurs, Gary? Ball, net, bang on.
Mighty Spurs.
Oh, aye, man. Mighty Spurs, man.
Yes, it was a good game, Gary, but of course, if we were playing, then the score would have been higher and the players would have been better looking. But 3 points is a fair start to the season. David Ginola, ladies and gentlemen, modest Tottenham legend. Our second game tonight took place at the Empty Crate Stadium, where Tottenham Hotspur's North London rivals, Arsenal, hosted one of last season's bottom feeders, Crystal Palace. Could managerless Palace turn things around and avoid losing their first game of the season, which they couldn't do last season, against the mighty Spurs? Or would Arsenal secure all 3 points in their first game, which they couldn't do last season, against lowly Aston Villa? Ho, 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 ho. A strange time for Wenger's little boys, who saw not a single trophy for 9 years, only for 2 of them to come along at the same time. But then when you spend so much time parking buses, is it any wonder that the London transport philosophy works out that way? Our matchday commentator was the ever-busy Mr. Pork Pie again, who interviewed Wenger after the Goobacks beat Palace 2-1. So, Arseman, your Arse team beat Palace 2-1 today, despite the fact that you clearly didn't deserve the win. What are your thoughts?
I am thinking that we have 3 points and ended today as league leaders.
Modest as ever. And Ramsey, he's been shaping up as the new Thierry Henry for you over recent campaigns. Your views on that?
Well, I am known for finding top talent, and yes, Ramsey falls into that bracket, although I've never thought about comparing him with the legend that is Henry.
And neither did I, mate. I was merely commenting on his ability to steal a scrappy goal and save your bacon in the dying embers of a game.
That is not funny.
Moving on to the void that used to be filled by Tony Pulis, you took the lead. You lost the lead, and then you lost the game. How does that make you feel? Okay. Will you be looking to strengthen your squad before the window closes, or are you happy with the players that you have? Very interesting comments there. Back to the studio.
So, that third North London team managed to bully a lesser club and steal a win, which means Satan has bagged himself yet another Goobak soul to add to his already massive collection. Anybody care about that game? No, me neither. Which takes us to our third game tonight, as former league winners Manchester United hosted hard-hitting Swansea at Old Scaffold. Under new boss Louise Van Rental, would Manure get out of the shit and go back to the glory days they had under Fergie, or would they continue the gory days they had under David Moyes? Losing 2-1 to Swansea, dear oh dear oh dear. Pork Pie met the managers.
So, Van Rental, after a fantastic pre-season effort that saw you take down Liverpool and really annoying Madrid amongst others,
How does it feel to get your pants pulled down on the opening day of the season by Swansea?
This is not the way that we are having these things. I don't know what's happening.
Oh dear. But looking at it this way, with a win rate ratio of 0, choosing Man United over Spurs looks to be a wise move, as let's face it, you wouldn't want Daniel Levy as your chairman after a result like that, would you?
This is not good. I need to look at some charts, speak to gigs, buy some players, sell some players. It's my first game. I want my money. Leave me alone.
Moving on, Gary Monk with 2 R's and 2 goals. Swansea's first win over Manchester United at Old Trafford. How are you feeling? An amazing feeling then. And how are the players taking the win? Beaten 2-1 by Swansea. Rab. Indeed. A lame. Loads of girls, man. Well, aye, man. David, Manchester United as the new Leeds. Our 4th game tonight sees Premier League new boys Leicester City, who were a good team until I left them to go play for Everton, host Everton, who were, by the same token, a good team until I left them to go work on my suntan, before joining the mighty Spurs. The game ended 2 goals apiece, and our quicker-than-lightning commentator stayed on the ball and met up with both managers after the game. Pork pie. So, Martini Head, you took the lead, you lost the lead, you took the lead again, and then you lost the lead again. What's the matter? Don't you want to win?
I'm not happy because we give them the point and we should have taken all 3 because we are the mighty Wigan. I mean Everton. And we play European football, which means we are a top club and do not deserve to lose to lesser clubs in this way.
Well, European football on top of EPL games is a top honour, it has to be said. But you did bag top honours and claim a place in this season's Champions League, so climb down off your pedestal, sonny.
Are you threatening me?
Nigel Pearson, you went behind twice and you fought your way back twice to earn a valuable point against a team that punch above their weight.
I am the great Cornholio.
Are you happy about that result? Right, so can we expect more of the same from Leicester next week? Gary! An exciting game between 2 clubs that used to be really good. Gentlemen, girls, man. Peanuts, the left and over, man. Second half, drink water. Eat food, score girls, man. And what about the chances? Rab? Shut up, took a shower and hit the roof. What's the boy aiming at? Indeed. And what about some of the officials' decisions? Gareth Barry was certainly the luckiest player on the pitch today, as both of his late blocks were identical, and with the linesman and referee both having perfect views of the second offence, I have no idea as to why the red card was not shown, Gary. Possibly one of the points I'll be taking up with the new official spokesperson, Mr. Howard Webb. West Brom hosted Sunderland in our 5th game of the evening. Didn't you dirty bastard, man? A lame. We run a policy of impartiality on this show, so kindly respect that as a professional pundit. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but football does get passionate at times. West Brom versus Sunderland was yet another game that ended 2-2, and our roving reporter teleported in just after the final whistle to interview one happy and one not so happy manager. Take it away, Guy. Thank you, Gary. Alan Irvine. 2 goals apiece, so 1 point under your belt on the opening day. Although in fairness, you could have won it 3-2 if it were not for Craig Dawson's header being ruled out. What's your take?
Well, to be honest, we're next sitting bottom with Man United, so it's all good for day one, man. I like your style, Alan. Moving on, Gus Poyet. What have you got to say about today's game? Are you happy with the result? I think we deserve win because we play risky and take chances to make things happen, you know? And, what about the decisions that were given? I don't want to get to trouble today, as the Football Association have said that people to pay their own fines from this season onwards. I am very disappointed with the penalty being awarded, but you know, I have to respect the referee and whatever he say. Who am I kidding? I pay double your stupid fine. The referee is a total his motherfucker. I want to kill him. Gary, let's start off with West Brom's penalty. Fair or unjust, Elaine? Spot on, man. Sunderland played dirty, man. Okay, how about Lee Cattermole's super strike for Sunderland? Unbelievable shot from 30 yards out. What do you think about that? Whoa, average goal, man. I've scored better myself. Well, how about Craig Dawson's header being denied? Total goal, man. You can't say no to that. Ref was as blind as a butt. Well, again on my list for Howard Webb. Moving on to game 6 now, which is a mighty Spurs cast-off mashup, as one of their former managers, Harry Redknapp's Queen's Park Rangers, as fronted by Glenn Hoddle, took on a whole team that laps up whatever players they can rummage from what the mighty Spurs deem to be surplus. Was the impartiality policy, Norman? Shut up. Rangers lost 1-0, and not surprisingly, Pork Pie spoke to the managers. Steve, you got that all-important winning goal, 3 points are in the bag, you're joint first with all the rest of today's winners. Does that cheer you up after coming second in last season's FA Cup? We done well, we had chances, we did get that goal, and that's all that matters when you look at the table. Harry, your boys had chances, they had breaks, but they never really capitalised on any of it. What's your view on this? Well, the boys were fantastic. Everyone was fantastic. The tea lady was fantastic. Nice triangular signings at half-time with the crust cut off. It was fantastic. But you didn't score any goals and you lost the game. Well, that's a matter of opinion, because they worked hard and it was fantastic. Everyone turned up and did a fantastic job today. Chester's handball, which led to the penalty being awarded. What can I say? It was a fantastic handball, a fantastic penalty and a fantastic save. Gary! Well, with a handball that saw the ball nowhere near the player's hand, it's looking like Howard Webb is going to earn his wages this week as the official spokesperson for EPL officials. Our 7th game tonight saw Stoke host Aston Villa, whose supporters will get to sing the Slap of the Day anthem on next week's opening credits, as we're running this in alphabetical order. The game ended with a 1-0 win for Villa. Pork Pie had the questions. Oh, Lambos! You nicked a goal and bagged 3 points. Happy? Aye, I mean the game was scrappy, but I think that the players have picked that crap up from Roy Keane, so I didn't know for sure. No goals and no points, but on the bright side, there's no long journey home either. What went wrong for you? We needed to get our heads down and dig deep. Then maybe we can find a tunnel to our opponent's goal, because we're never going to find it on the pitch, that's for sure. Linekeers! Don't sound too happy, Pork Pie. This is Slap of the Day, not Match of the Day. No rest for the wicked here, mate. You got 3 more games to deal with before you can take a break. Oh, crap, I'm knackered already. Right then. Well, the season has started, so it's time for that all-important question. Who do you think will win? Liverpool! All the way! Of course, Rap. Liverpool are going to win your EPL title this season, as they've done every year since you became a pundit on my show. Elaine, Ayman, if you say Newcastle, I'll kick your ass so hard you'll taste your own testicles. So taking that into consideration, who do you realistically think will win the title this season? Manchester City League?
Cretin. Slap of the day. 1 show, 10 games, and number 8 tonight is Southampton's trip to Liverpool. Having had Luis Suarez put to sleep by the RSPCA for biting, Liverpool have taken a leaf from the book of the mighty Spurs and then gone one better by buying 8 new players to replace 1 key player. Southampton, on the other hand, have bought several new players and, of course, a new manager, having seen Pinocchio leave to join the mighty Spurs. The starting lineup and subs bench saw 10 new faces for this game, which, not surprisingly, ended in a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Although, surprisingly, Southampton did give Brendan Rodgers' men a run for their money. Pork Pie picks up the microphone post-match. Brendan, Mignolet was my man of the match because he made some extraordinary feline-like manoeuvres, which, let's face it, was the only thing that kept Southampton from entering your house, despite the fact that they were knocking on the door with an industrial-sized JCB bulldozer. I mean, I say this with confidence, as I'm certain for sure that had you run with any other goalkeeper, you probably would have lost or drawn today's game. What have you got to say about that? Hey. OK, and Ronald Koeman, how unlucky was Southampton? This was bad, we deserved a draw at least. Indeed you did. Gary? And when you don't wash with soap, you'll always walk alone. Shut up, Hanson. Liverpool were crap and you got outplayed by Southampton for most of the game. So if that's what fans can expect for the rest of the season, at the end of the season, they can expect nothing shorter than a relegation battle. They were horrendously pathetic. Hey. In tonight's 9th game, current league champions Manchester City travelled to Tyneside for a game against Newcastle United, who actually turned up. Could Pellegrini's men start the season with a win and charge headlong into the defence of their title? Or would... Who am I kidding? City won 2-0. Pork Pie met the managers. Pardew, you lost. I'm consistent. You are that. Mr. Pellegrini, sir, you look like Arsene Wenger with a slightly longer wig. This makes for an interesting post-match report when City play Arsenal then. Yes. Gary! Elaine? No girls, man. Indeed. Anybody else want to make any statements about the bleeding obvious? OK. In our final game of the evening, Premier League New Boys Burnley hosted Premier League Bus Parkers Chelsea, who beat Burnley 3-1, which is hardly surprising seeing as how Chav owner Roman Abramovich has spunked about £2 billion on what can only be described as football's most expensive silverware set, while humble and modest Burnley have earned their seat at the captain's table this year the hard way, using blood, sweat, tears and a half-eaten book of luncheon vouchers. I don't want to see bullying and degradation, I don't care if my cohorts want to see it, and the whole thing isn't possible anyway, as Guy Melton Mowbray Pork Pie has just dropped dead from exhaustion. So, Tony Hubba Gubba Bubblegum, you need to get your skates on, as you're up to run the gauntlet next week. Taking our first look at the 2014 to 2015 EPL table, the mighty Spurs are joint top, so Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal, you should keep an open eye over your shoulders. Manchester United are joint bottom with Newcastle and West Ham United, so Burnley, don't panic, as if nothing else, you're in good company. All of which leaves the average teams mid-table. Where else? Before we end tonight's show, we've just got time for a new feature on Slap of the Day, as in answer to your harsh yet fair criticisms, the FA have appointed Howard Webb as their new spokesman, and shortly before we came on air, I spoke with Mr. Webb to ask him about some of the irregularities that had manifested during the course of this opening week. Gary Lineker has more. Thank you, Gary. Howard Webb, welcome to Slap of the Day, and allow me to dive straight into the mix with what can only be described as some outrageous and absurd shouts that were made by some of the officials that you are here today to represent, like Kyle Naughty's sending off against West Ham United, Chester's handball in the QPR game which clearly hit his body, plus of course the plethora of insanities that were witnessed during the Sunderland game.
Can you in any way, shape or form justify these decisions? Yet anyone who alleges that he's totally lost without Sir Alex Ferguson will get sued. Well, that's it from Slap of the Day on the week that Louise Van Rental was handed a pile of manure and a pigeon shat in Ashley Young's mouth. Till next week, naff off.